So I have been running the Dempsey Challenge. This is going to be my 7th year. I've been a big runner. I just got into running and loved it so much. And I saw a friend from high school who was on a team called Cancer's Poopy. And I was like, well, I want to run. And they said, join our team. And the rest was history. I just fell in love with it from the first time I showed up. I always just ran it because, as the challenge says, everyone's affected. Someone knows someone that has cancer or have had cancer. It's never ending. So each year I would just pick someone. And that year of 2019, we had just lost a good friend, Amy Richard, 42, to lung cancer. And one of my best friend's nephews, he had leukemia, so he was battling that. And I had my best friend's daughter with me, Ava, who at 9 months old had neuroblastoma. So she was with us and she ran past and they called her as a survivor, and it was so emotional and amazing. And so I didn't have cancer. A year later comes and we're in the height of COVID, and I feel something in my right breast. And I was like, ooh, that's strange. I don't like going to doctors. It's not my favorite thing. I'm healthy. I run a lot. I eat healthy. And ironically, my boyfriend's mother had breast cancer and she passed away from it. So after a few months, when life had settled down, he was like, could you please go have that checked? And I was like, fine, even though it's not going to be anything. So I go and have my first mammogram, and they're like, oh, we're not really sure, come in for a biopsy. So I have the biopsy done, and I remember, so I worked at an elementary school in a special education wing, and it's the first day with the kids there, and my doctor calls me, and she's like, hey, do you have a minute? And I'm confused, because I'm like, a minute for what? Like, you're just gonna say I don't have cancer? And she said, it chokes me up this moment. She said the results did not come back the way we had hoped. And usually I'm a pretty strong person, but I fell to my knees because I was completely in shock and overwhelmed and didn't expect to hear that. Well, so I went over and started my breast cancer journey. My mammogram was on September 3rd, and the Dempsey Challenge last year, 2020, it wasn't in person because of COVID. And of course I was going to run it. I had done it every single year. And I remember sharing it on Facebook, like it was the perfect scenario for me. And my sister says to me all the time, leave it to you to get cancer and still use it to help others. So that's how I shared my story of having cancer, was using the Dempsey Challenge, because I was registered and I was going to run it no matter what. And so I shared my link and said, I have cancer. I'm running for me this year. And I was very blessed in the amount of people that backed me and sponsored me. And my running friends, they held the Dempsey Challenge, like just our running group at my friend's house, who came up with Cancer's Poopy. Terry, she's the best. She's so sweet. And she decorated her street just like it would have been if we were in person. And we ran up and down her street what felt like 50 times, and it wasn't because we did the 5K. But it was a beautiful hot day, and afterwards I got to share all of my photos, and I ran the Dempsey Challenge with breast cancer. And I just think back about that a lot, and it does make me emotional, and because I never thought it would be me. Why would I? So I found out I had the invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 1, and I had a couple different paths I could go, neither of which I wanted. And I said, okay, well, if I'm going to have surgery, I'm going to go big or go home, because my children are young. They're 12 and almost 14. And I felt like my family and friends and everyone close to me deserved the best possible outcome. And having the double mastectomy, that gave us the least percentage of it coming back. But I survived, and I'm alive, and I'm back running. The 2021 Dempsey challenge is very important to me because it hit home. It hit home hard. And I love running, first off, so like I would never miss a race anyways. And I'm also a creature of habit, so I've done this 6 years in a row, 7 years in a row, so I can't miss it now. And I want to be that advocate. I want people to know, like, it could be you. I'm going to keep telling people, like, check yourself, go to the doctor, even though I hated it. It's important. Like, you know, I learned a really valuable lesson, and I'm going to be the voice for others to make sure they remember.